Hey there, this is Jodi Clock and welcome to my podcast, I Woke Up Dead, Now What? In our conversations, we'll talk about real issues that everyday people face should they wake up dead without a life after death plan in place. Join me as we explore the how-tos on preparing for you or your loved one's passing without breaking the bank. And let's not forget about those pets too. Now, don't you fall asleep. Hey there, this is Jodi Clock, and thank you for tuning into my podcast, I Woke Up Dead, Now What? For those of you who are new to the podcast, this is where we have safe conversations and we talk about all things end of life for people and our pets. And today we're going to be talking about navigating what I call the healthcare spin cycle. I don't know if you guys understand what that is, but hopefully by the end of this podcast, not only will you understand it, maybe you will have the ability to look at someone you love and care about and just kind of understand where they are in this cycle and maybe those next steps that you're going to have to follow. So what I really like to do is start at the very beginning. And, when we're brought into this crazy thing called life, doctors, all those people who are Mr. Smarty Pantses, categorize life into 5 distinct phases. First one would be childhood. Second would be adolescence. Third would be the young adulthood. Then when we would have middle age. And then we would arrive at old age. Or some might call those the golden years. But for terms of this conversation, I like to refer to them as your elder years. Or professionally in the healthcare field, it's eldercare. I mean, not just senior healthcare. I mean, it is all things in eldercare that not only deal with your health, there are legal matters, there are financial matters, and yes, there are closing up house matters or cleaning up house matters that have to do with the funeral planning arrangements. But needless to say, in those stages of adulthood, we also hit other stages, and that's what I call the healthcare journey. I mean, life isn't linear. We have all those stages. First we're squirrely kids, and then we turn into tweens and teenagers, and then we think we know it all, and then next thing you know, we find ourselves looking back going, where did all that time go? So there's another way you could look at that as you enter into your senior years or your elder years. And I would like to say, well, we're alive and well. Well, what does alive and well mean? Alive and well means that you're living independently and you are in good health. And I think we all know what that looks like. And it doesn't happen magically at an age. I mean, you could be in your 40s and you may not be well, but you might be alive. So it just kind of all depends at where you are in your personal health journey. The second phase would be facing injury or illness. And, is that on a regular basis? Sometimes you have a one-hit illness or injury that's from an accident or an appendectomy. But then there are those other ones that are on a continual basis. You might have an autoimmune disease. You might have gotten muscular dystrophy or MS or, there's just a litany of things. The third would be requiring hospitalization or in-home care. So that means when you are really sick and you're going to have to stay in the hospital, not overnight, but anywhere from, 3 to 6 days, could be a month. And then you come home and you're going to need in-home care. And if you don't go to in-home care, you're going to have to go into a placement or a facility that can provide the care. The other phase would be transitioning to assisted living and or a nursing home. And today's generation, us boomers, there's a lot of us that just want to age in place. I mean, I know I say that all the time. The assisted living, my guess is if there's a community where I could have fun and have that sense of socialization, but not feel like I'm some geezer living somewhere, I might consider it. But one thing is for sure, if it was in my control, I want to age in place. However, the very last phase of your healthcare journey, which is the 5th one, is receiving hospice care and eventual transitioning to death or passing. So, either you're alive and well or you're alive and not well. And really that's what it comes down to. And that key insight, well, it would be when you recognize when your loved one enters into the second phase, which means facing injury or illness on a regular basis. This part of the spin cycle is crucial for understanding and making assessments on current needs and financial adjustments. And when you hit that, I wouldn't sit back and lollygag. I would run, not walk, to an eldercare care attorney and possibly a financial planner and or both. And I would start looking at your needs. This cycle, it will repeat itself based on the individual's health challenges. And when that happens, that can be taxing on your family. It creates emotional and financial strains, I should say. But, with the proper guidance, after you've asked the proper questions, you can come up with a sound strategy where that financial piece will be minimized and it can possibly even be averted. Wouldn't that be a good thing? Again, the key is to recognize and know where you are with your loved one's place in that spin cycle. So just let me say that again. Independent living, alive and well, facing injury or illness on a regular basis, someone's requiring hospitalization or in-home care, transitioning to assisted living or a nursing home, or end of life with hospice care. Where's this person plugging in? Where's the beginning of this journey? And the interesting thing is that whole journey isn't always sequential. It's really common for individuals to move back and forth between stage 2 and stage 4 over and over, especially, man, I'm tongue-tied today, especially when illness strikes. So what you want to try to do is avoid the nursing home if you can get your arms around good, healthy living and good care. So what I really want you to do is contemplate some things while you're planning. And here's just a few little data bites. If you're a male and you're 65 years old right now, you can expect to live to be at least 84 if you're in good health. A female who's alive and well, they're expected to live, you can plan on 86 and a half years old. And then approximately 1 in 4 65-year-olds today will live past the age of 90, and 10 more are going to live past the age of 95. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And that data came from the Social Security Administration. So I just didn't make that up. That's real, and you can get out on their website and see it. But I want you to know families who have taken positive and proactive steps to organize their loved ones' affairs, by the time the end stages of life approach, they really have a great gift. And that's that they can focus on what truly matters without the stress of a to-do list that is pretty daunting. And they get to spend that gift called time up till the very end. So what's my point? My point is you don't want to watch a life savings diminish. What occurs when you reach the point where you can no longer care for yourself or your loved one, either way, you got to consider that nursing home or care facility. So what's going to happen if your children face the same dilemma when they're trying to care for you? Well, they face the financial risk of losing everything. And so do you. Especially, you've saved your entire life, and it wasn't to give it to my favorite nursing home. This is not an exaggeration. It's a harsh reality. Individuals entering long-term care facilities often exhaust their life savings in less than a year, and many times under 120 days. I'm going to say that again. Individuals who enter long-term care facilities often exhaust their life savings in less than a year, and sometimes, more times than not, under 120 days. So when your loved one's funds run dry, what covers their care? How do you pay for that? Some people sell their personal belongings. Sometimes any nest egg is completely gone. That's another ramification, and you can just forget that family inheritance. And many times families will pitch in and try to pay for it. And then really at the end of the day, your loved one becomes financially reliant on Medicaid, which is a U.S. government program that offers hospitalization, medical insurance for individuals under a specific income. And you can check this all out on the Medicare and or Medicaid website for the government. But my point is, it's highly likely that your parents or loved ones will eventually require Medicaid assistance. Their assets could unnecessarily dwindle, while you may find yourself mentally, emotionally, seeking advice from numerous self-proclaimed experts. The ones with good intentions or outdated information, or have a friend of a friend and they really don't know what they're talking about. So many people, oh gosh, especially my friends, they give great, well-intended misinformation. But just remember, what works for them or your neighbor or your uncle may not work for you. There is not a one-size-fit-all approach. Not even a one-size-fit-most. So when you go to my favorite caseworker at my favorite senior resource center, they're just filling boxes. They are not making a custom plan for you. And I want to be loud and clear, they are not wrong, but there are strategies, and they are not attorneys. So therefore, they may not know how to circumvent going broke. The good thing about it is if you're in a crisis moment, you can seek out an elder care attorney and they will know exactly what to do and try to stop the bleeding, if you will. And then you've got to get strong end of life planning at that time. And that is what that elder care attorney will do. They will take you down that yellow brick road of setting goals, getting objectives, and finding out what works for you or your loved one. They'll figure out how health care will be paid for. They will help with end of life care, and then they will make recommendations on next steps and planning. Now again, all of that can be done without an attorney. Some people want to save some nickels, but what they don't realize is what they do need to spend are those nickels, because sometimes, penny wise is pound foolish. So what's my point? My point is make a plan, understand exactly where you are in that healthcare spin cycle, and it doesn't matter where you are. Ask for help, make a plan, go to the right people. I think if you do that, you're going to find a lot of comfort in knowing you're in good hands. You've got a solid plan, and you can spend your time on what's really important. So I want to thank you for not waking up dead today and joining me on this podcast. My ask of you is to jump over to my website at jodiclock.com and email me any questions that you might have on any topics that you'd like to hear in the future. So until next time, bye. Hey, if you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that I want to thank you, and I am so glad you didn't wake up dead today. Please jump over to jodiclock.com and download your free copy of my family care plan. This guide will help those you leave behind should you wake up dead. I promise. Be sure to order my book, It's Complicated, based on a true story. Send me an email about topics you'd like to hear in future episodes. Until next time, thank you for not falling asleep.